It was set up as a helping hand to disadvantaged families, but the Sydney suburb of Bidwill, near Mount Druitt, in Sydney's west, is plagued by high levels of unemployment, substance abuse and violence. This week, the state government signalled it would soon embark on a tough love strategy to try to break the generational cycle of social disadvantage. Philippa McDonald reports.
I don't see Bidwill as fun anymore. It's full of sad stories now. A lot of drugs, crime, violence, mental illness and poverty.
There's a lot of domestic violence in Bidwill, and that's basically because of the drugs.
Some young people haven't seen their father or their grandfather or their mother or grandmother work.
Bidwill is struggling and Bidwill needs to choose to change.
It all began as a social housing experiment 40 years ago, founded on the great Australian dream that one day, with a helping hand, you could own your own home and get ahead.
Our house was brand new when we moved in, so we felt quite posh. There were lots and lots of us, similar situations, families, fair few kids. Mum and Dad went to work, and yeah, it was just like a huge big family really.
But today, Bidwill is a suburb falling behind.
Once you get to Mount Druitt, Bidwill, there's not much hope of getting out.
Pam Carr's perspective on this Western Sydney suburb is a unique one. She grew up here, was educated here, and now works in the area as a social worker. She's immersed in a community that she's deeply connected to.
People don't want to employ people from Bidwill. The education is not valued. So if you say, I went to Bidwill High, people go, oh, Bidwill. So what hope do these people have? Nobody in the street works.
It's a dense population of people who are very poor and often have other complex needs, such as mental health needs.
Paul Vivers is the Executive Director of Housing Services for Housing New South Wales.
A 16-year-old or 17-year-old boy or girl, if they leave school, the rite of passage for them is that the parents would take them down to Centrelink. In other communities, their parents might take them to their first job. And that's a really difficult role model when some young people haven't seen their father or their grandfather or their mother or grandmother work. And so that's a real big challenge.
But it's not the only challenge.
I would probably visit, say, between 5 to 10 people a day. Most of those homes are poorly kept. Very little nutritional food in the cupboards. Children not at school. Nobody working.
And then there's the drugs.
Many clients don't see their drug use as a problem. You know, they might smoke a couple of sticks a day. It's cheap. A lot of people get it delivered to their house.
Home delivery.
Home delivery. Drugs are us.
Ice?
There is some of that.
It's a bleak picture and a huge community problem that falls in the lap of Family and Community Services Minister Prue Goward.
What are we doing to address the problems in Bidwill that despite the millions of dollars, despite the billions of dollars in assets, nothing is changing?
Some things have changed in Bidwill, but not for the better. The local shopping centre used to be home to a supermarket, butcher and GP. Now the only tenant is a takeaway shop. The major supermarkets don't want to come here, so other tenants are not interested. The only option for basic items like bread, milk and nappies is to buy them at the drive-in bottle shop next to the pub.
I think it is a terrible outcome, and let me tell you, this isn't the only place in Australia where that is the problem. Once they had a shopping centre, but over the years it's been vandalised, it's been robbed, and you can't get people actually to want to run a business there. And that's why this problem is so self-fulfilling. Once you have a high concentration of people with complex needs and antisocial behaviour, then of course the shops and the businesses move away. They don't want to be vandalised, they don't want to be robbed.
It causes problems in terms of people's own understanding of the community, really, at that level, as well as the very practical problems of they're not having vehicles.
It's not the only empty wasteland. This oval right next to the local high school used to be full of children playing competitive sport. Now there aren't even goalposts.
Yeah, there's not a lot around in Bidwill for the kids. There's too much free time on their hands.
According to the government, too much alcohol, drugs and increasingly domestic violence are part of life here.
So if we go back to the 11-12 year, there were 97 risk of harm reports for children relating to domestic violence. You go forward a year and there were 143 risk of harm reports.
Walk the streets and there's a human face to the violence. Amanda German is a long-term Bidwill resident. Last June her daughter was attacked in the family home, allegedly by her daughter's partner, who's now facing serious assault charges.
She's still got a blood clot in her head, but he gave her a bleed on the brain, he broke her nose, broke her eye socket. So I've experienced it, but yeah, there's a lot of domestic violence in people. And that's basically because of the drugs. Yeah.
And alcohol?
Yeah, and alcohol. Mostly drugs, but...
What kind of drugs?
Ice. It's all based around ice.
The problems in Bidwill are complex and span 3 to 4 generations. The minister agrees there's no easy solution, but this week she made it clear that there would be a new approach to the provision of public housing.
We have to have, well, you might call it tough love. We have to have expectations that you change.
Beyond the sad statistics, there's hope among the young people.
I would like to do spray paint, panel beating, engineering and mechanicking, so I can build my own cars and that.
It's kind of unfair that we just get told, you're stupid, you can't go anywhere. But some of my friends are they're the smartest in their class, and they've been to loads of places just on their knowledge, and you can't really stop people from saying what they say, but Bidwill is a good place.